Yeah.
I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavill, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Birmingham, Alabama at the Sheraton Hotel. And if you don't know by now, I'm not sure what is wrong with you. That means that football is around the corner and it is a officially SWAC Football Media Day. Well, if you can listen out of the pocket, I am the managing director of the Black College Football Poll, and I'm here with Charles Bishop that actually votes in the poll as well. We wanted to give you a short segment to give you some updates in terms of the poll. Hopefully you've seen out there the top 10 for the Division I, that's FCS, HBCU poll, as well as the Division II HBCU poll. We're going to run that down for you, tell you a little bit about those teams before our traditional segment. But this is brought to you by SWAC TV Game Time. We're hosting it on behalf to give you a special edition of what we tend to do with Dr. Mills inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We will move forward with our regular show after we give you this programming update in terms of what's going on around the HBCU sports scene. With that being said, to kind of give you a breakdown, we'll do this first short segment, give you an intro. We'll come back in the second segment, give you the top 10 for the HBCU poll. We'll give you the top 10 for the FCS poll, and then we'll give you a little talking points to see what Charles thinks about these polls, about how his ranking went. But let me give you some indication in case you're not aware of this preseason Black College Football Poll. It is the inaugural season of what took place here in terms of what that looks like. This is the impetus of and supported by the all four conference commissioners. That's the SWAC, MEAC, SIAC, and CIAA. But it's important to note that this also includes all HBCU programs. Those programs, two that are in the CAA, that's North Carolina A&T in Hampton, as well as Tennessee State out of the OVC, Big South partnership they have. And even that is the case when you think about the Division II level, when you think of teams like West Virginia State out of the West Virginia Intercollegiate Athletic Association and Conference. So that's a framework about what this is. You also get a preseason All-American team. You get a postseason All-American team. A championship team will come out of this bowl. Obviously, for the FCS level, that may come out and probably will come out of the teams playing in the Cricket Celebration Bowl presented by Toyota. At the Division II level, it'll be interesting to see is that a team that goes further in the playoffs, championship team that comes out of those respective teams, or do we have an independent program that's out of one of those conferences that wins a championship that puts their names in the mix? But the head coaches and selected media will be responsible for voting in this poll all season and naming those teams involved. So early on, when you heard about this, what were your thoughts in terms of what this looks like, Charles?
Tremendous opportunity. I think from a branding standpoint, when you take a look at various teams around the HBCU stratosphere, get an opportunity to have an all-encompassing poll that everybody can point to and say, this is the poll that, definitive poll, if you will, where all of your HBCU athletic teams will have a good look-see in terms of the nation taking a look at it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this opportunity because of the history that's associated with all these conferences and getting back to where the media, but now you got a partnership with the coaches, so the coaches get a voice in this. It's So I think this is such a unique brainchild from the commissioners that's putting this together, and the fact that they're adding some control from their perspective of what's out there, but still giving coaches the opportunity to have input, giving selected media to have input on this, I think goes a long way. I want to make sure people got a shot that I do have the polo shirt with the logo on it, just for y'all to know. But with that being said, let's take a little deeper dive in here, some more information in terms of what that looks like. We had 57 voters between the head coaches and media members. That will grow slightly over the next poll in terms of those that are involved. But also, in terms of this first poll, South Carolina State came out of the FCS level with the number one ranking. Obviously, many people remember last year the classic comeback win they had against Prairie A&M, team out of the SWAC. South Carolina State hosting and a member of the DEAC, got it done and won a National Black College Championship after winning the Career Celebration Bowl last year and winning their conference championship, going undefeated, 5-0 in that race, and then a thrilling victory there. So to riches go to spoil, they come out as the number one team. Talk a little bit about South Carolina State, the Bulldogs, Coach Chinnis Berry. They have a couple of little changes, offensive coordinator changes there, some quarterback changes, but we know anything about the Bulldogs, I imagine that you do believe they'll be in the mix. But what are your thoughts about them being number one coming into this 2026 season?
Yeah, absolutely. Well deserved. When you take a look at what Chinnis Berry has come in to a legacy program that is South Carolina State, he's come in and continued to build upon what they've already established as far as the tradition. We're talking about a program that has consistently won through the decades, and Chinnis Berry has come in and added his own stamp on this program, and they're right back in the upper echelon, if you will, of HBC programs in the country.
Yeah, selected. We'll go down and see the other teams in the FCS and get your little thoughts on that in a later segment. But let's go to Johnson C. Smith. Probably the surprise for many people. We saw the trajectory. They were on the rise, but to finally get it done after many years, they win the CIAA, get a playoff bid, play really well in the playoff game until late in that game where it got away from them. But what are your thoughts about Johnson C. Smith as the number one team coming out of the preseason rankings in terms of the Division II side of this HBCU poll?
You know, when you talk about it, Coach Maurice Flowers knocking on the door for so many years and then finally pushing the door open last year. Tremendous season for Johnson C. Smith. Very strong running game. And to open up the season number one in the poll, it speaks to the strength of that program and the trajectory in terms of where they're going from here on out. They've been, you mentioned, knocking on the door, but here they are. People now know that they are the top team going into the season.
Golden Bulls, and they're playing some football out of the CIAA. As we close this segment, I also want to say, beginning with the preseason rankings, the Black College Football Poll will be released each week throughout the regular season. Voters submit a top 10 ballot using a 10-point scoring system. First place receiving 10 points, second place 9, continuing throughout 1 point for the 10th place team, to giving you some pointing breakdowns there. With that being said, we'll take our first break. We'll come back on the other side and we'll get into the total top 10 for the HBCU rankings, if you would. Black College Football Poll for Division II side of things. We'll be right back after this first break.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
If you've ever told yourself, I want to get into real estate but don't know where to start, here's something just for you. From Friday, July 31st to Sunday, August 2nd, the Learn Real Estate Fast Masterclass is coming to McKenzie Office Park in College Park. You'll learn wholesaling, commercial investing, and how to purchase property with zero money or credit. I can tell you, education and access are everything. This masterclass is designed to give you both. Whether you're brand new or ready to level up, this is where you start making real moves. Enjoy free lunch, free study materials, materials and receive a certification of completion. So don't wait. Seats are filling fast. Do not sit on the sidelines while others build wealth. Take that first step toward ownership and legacy. Get your tickets now at learnrealestatefast.com or tickpick.com. For more information, call 678-859-3303. Master the market, build your legacy, secure your future today.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Khalil with SWAC TV Game Time, and we're here to give you the Black College Football Poll Division 2 component. So let's wrap it up. Let's start out. Let me give some of those outside of the poll getting votings. Let's give them some love. You have Livingstone. Blueberries that finished 5-5 last year, 3-4. They received 10 points just outside of the top 10. You also have West Virginia State. Those Yellow Jackets finished 5-6 overall and 4-4 in their conference race. They're outside. They also have 10 points. Let's go into the next bottom five, if you would, in the top 10. Starting with number 10, you have Tuskegee out of the SIAC. They finished last season with 4-7 record, 3-7, 17 points. Somebody thinks they're going to have a really good year. They got one first place vote, the only team outside of the top four that were able to receive first place vote. So I'm interested in trying to figure out who thinks that highly of the Tuskegee Golden. Interesting. Tigers, if you would. But they've done a lot of work, so it's fascinating to see what that looks like. Also out of the SIC is number 9. Edward Waters Tigers started off season really well last year. Had the big win over Virginia Union, number 1 team. Kind of faltered a little late in the season, but still had a solid season when you think about how late head coach got in there and got the game, and then through the season they took off the interim tag. But the Tigers of Edward Waters finished 5-5, 4-4 in the SIAC race. They had 53 points in terms of what they did in this ranking. Also out of the SIAC is number 8, which is Allen, 6-5, 5-3. They had 60 points in terms of what they get done. We're going to slide up. The next two come out of the CIAA, which is number 7, Virginia State. The Trojans finished last year 6-4, 4-3. Somewhat of a down year for them, but Dr. Henry Frazier III. It'll be interesting. Second, I should say, is see what he decides to get back into it with 66 points. Then you have also out of the CIAA, as I said, at number 6, is Fayetteville State. The Broncos finished the season at 6-4, 6-1. In a lot of ways, it's a down year for them as well. 91 points. So let's take a pause and look at these bottom 6 teams. Give me your thoughts on some of these teams. Where do you expect them to run this year?
Yeah, I think when you take a look at it, tremendous strength. When you take a look at a lot of coaches, proven winner. You talk about Brian Jenkins, what he was able to do at the Division I level, if you will, the major level. But Edward Waters started out strong last season, huge win that turned everybody's heads with Virginia Union, and then it kind of tailed off a little bit, but explosive scoring too. And then you take a look at Allen, wins over Tuskegee, and Edward Waters toward the bottom part of the season last year. Henry Frazier, proven winner. when you take a look at what he does. And very interesting. You talk about Tuskegee, another legacy program, where Tuskegee kind of get back in the mix of things there in games, trying to turn that program back to the good portions of what we know Tuskegee to be.
When he played down there and was running things, be interesting to see if he can switch it back up. With that being said, let's get into the top five. This is when you start to see some of the elite programs over the last couple of years. Certainly, what the programs did last year. Many people think they're going to stay there. One of the new people in that interest, though, is Kentucky State Thoroughbred. I mean, SIAC surprised you, but they piled up 9 wins. 9-3, 7-1 in the conference race, 112 points. They even got a bid to the NCAA Division II playoffs and really looked good in that game as well until late as they faltered. But with the changes in terms of what the SIAC did in the conference, uh, able to play an extra game that previously didn't play, winning that game put them in a really good position in terms of their partnership that we've seen with Dr. Holloman, with the coast of the Carolina conferences, I should say. That really seemed to go well, and Kentucky State, with the season they had, got it done in terms of that matchup. Bringing in number 4, Virginia Union Panthers. They've been there. They did not win the championship this year, but they were in the championship game, which seems like the position. Regular, right? They were 9-3. They also got a bid to the playoffs, which was a statement for the CIAA. They finished 7-0 in the conference race before a tough loss in the championship game, CIAA that is. But they come in with 154 points. Some people see them as number 1. In fact, it was 7 voters that put them at the top of the preseason poll, bringing us to the top 3 where it really gets good. You have Albany State, SIAC, remember? The Golden Rams won the championship last year, but they lost the coach and some players that decided to go a little further south. Went to FAMU for Coach Gray. That's his alma mater. We will see him tomorrow at the SWAC championship game. I mean, at the SWAC Media Day 2026 here in Birmingham. That's to say, so fascinating to see what he has to say, particularly when you think about them not being able to play for a championship. But we'll discuss that a little later in the FCS Division I poll. For now, Albany State, more importantly, finished last year at 12-2. 8-0, were a couple of plays away from getting into the quarterfinals of the FCS playoffs. And if you didn't have a quarterback, they got hurt. No telling what would happen last year. 156 points. A little different, though. They have less votes than the 4th place team. They have 4. But still solid in terms of overall, people think them at the top. So I'll be interested to see what you think about him. And then we have out of the SIAC also is Benedict. Benedict Tigers. Riley had a very solid season, 10-3 last year, 7-1 in the conference race, and had the magical win over Wyndham in the Division II playoffs that people are still talking about to this day in terms of getting that play done. They have 20 first place votes. They have the most first place votes. See, people think extremely highly in terms of the voters and the coaches in this poll. 157 points, but they stand at number 2. As we told you earlier, the number 1 team is Johnson C. Smith. The Golden Bulls, they're out of the CIAA, 10-2, 6-1. Made the playoffs, tough loss. Have 168 points that put them at the top. Only 12 first place votes to 20 for Benedict. But a lot of things to think about there. What do you think about the next 5 teams at the top of the Black College Football Division II poll?
I think one of the intriguing teams is Kentucky State, when you talk about a historic team. And then they had the huge game against Grambling where they almost pulled off the upset. They kind of turned everybody's head for the varsity program. Big 9-3 season last year. Dr. Alvin Parker, he mentioned perennial. You know, the game is definitely going to be consistently in the mix of things over there. Take a look at Albany State. That's the questions around Albany State with regard to will that program continue to be in the upper echelon of teams in the Division II level. Now, the Benedict was a huge playoff win last season at Wingate, the miracle at Wingate. Can they continue their upward trajectory? And Johnson C. Smith, they've established themselves in terms of being one of the top teams on the Division II level. Definitely deserving of
Good stuff there, Charles. Well, let's take our next break. We'll come back on the other side and get into the FCS Division I level, see about those top teams, some teams receiving votes, But we'll be right back on the other side to go into that NCAA Division One side of the inaugural preseason Black College football poll for 2026.
Clear.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a state, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically Black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image.
Ever told yourself, I want to get into real estate but don't know where to start? Here's something just for you. From Friday, July 31st to Sunday, August 2nd, the Learn Real Estate Fast Masterclass is coming to McKenzie Office Park in College Park. You'll learn wholesaling, commercial investing, and how to purchase property with zero money or credit. I can tell you, education and access are everything. This masterclass is designed to give you both. Whether you're brand new or ready to level up, this is where you start making real moves. Enjoy free lunch, free study materials, and receive a certification of completion. So don't wait. Seats are filling fast. Do not sit on the sidelines while others build wealth. Take that first step toward ownership and legacy. Get your tickets now at learnrealestatefast.com or tickpick.com. For more information, call 678-859-3303. Master the market, build your legacy, secure your future today.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Introducing the HBCU Trivia Game. It's more than a board game, it's a journey to the legacy of historically Black colleges and universities. Here's how it works. 2 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, start as freshmen and roll the dice to advance. But here's the twist. You can only move forward by answering trivia questions about HBCU. Test your knowledge of notable alumni, key historical events, sports milestones, and fun HBCU facts. Watch out for spaces that can propel you ahead or set you back. And if you get a question wrong, you stay put until your next turn. The first to reach graduation wins. The HBCU Trivia Game. Support, educate, entertain. Available now. Let the journey begin.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL on August 29th with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff presented by Toyota, representing the SWAC, Alabama A&M, and representing the MEAC, Howard, Bulldogs, Bison, the Marching Maroon and White, the Showtime Marching Band, the premier FCS matchup in primetime with a kickoff trophy up for grabs. Join us pre-game for band jamborees, food, activations, and fellowship. For tickets and information, visit MEACSWACChallenge.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavill with the Black College Football Poll Show on Sweat TV Game Time. You're here with Charles Bishop that's giving you some updates, and it's now to get into the Division I FCS level of things. As we talked about earlier in the show, this is the inaugural season of the Black College Football Poll. We have provided you with the Division II top 10. Now it's time to get into the Division I FCS top 10. As we did before, we'll talk with those receiving votes. We have 3 teams outside of that receiving votes. This preseason poll ranking, you have Alcorn State Braves, you have Howard, Bison, and Alabama A&M Bulldogs outside the poll. The Braves had 15 points in both the Bison and A&M Bulldogs had 13 points each. So let's get in the top 10 and see what your thoughts are on that, Charles. At number 10, you start with the Florida A&M Rattlers out of the SWAC. Last season, they hit a bumpy road, went 5-7. Did have a even record in conference play at 4-4. Led to coaching changes, but they had 32 points. We talked about now coming in. The Quinn Gray, legendary quarterback, hit his chop. Butler has been able to get some good coaching and talk about what he did with Auburn State last year. Now he just moved up to FCS. Played in the MEAC era.
Yes, they do not disturb
in the
didn't work.
SWAC era. What he's able to do there. Since that time, family has won one championship in the SWAC. And able to get a cricket celebration bowl championship, national championship. After that, coach has moved on, moved the interim, and now we see additional changes. So fascinating to see what that looks like for this season. Challenge you have with the Rattlers, they will not be able to play for a conference championship. And everything else is there. And Quinn Gray has told everybody there's still expectations on the hill, as they like to say in those parts. Number 9, you have Texas Southern Tigers out of Houston. You'll end up seeing 2 teams out of Texas that have gotten in the football business. Texas Southern out of the SWAC. The Tigers sit at 6-5. First winning season in some 20-plus years for them. One game. Some people say one play away, as it would come out at the end of the season for playing for their own SWAC championship title last year. But they finished 5-3 as things would have it, with 42 points. They are in at number 9. Bringing us to number 8, Bethune-Cookman Wildcats finished the season really strong. Obviously out of the SWAC, finished with a 6-6 record and a winning conference record at 5-3. 46 points. They're in the top 10. Bringing us to number 7, Grambling State Tigers. Outside of the Bayou Classic, they were really having a strong indication of the year. They did finish at 7 wins. They said 7-5. Just 400 in conference race. So one game against your rival really can turn the tide of what a season could or could not be. And they're looking forward to this season as they come in preseason wise based on how the coaches and media folk voted with 63 points. Closing out the bottom 5 is number 6, Delaware State, the Hornets. Inaugural season for Coach Jackson down there really surprised a lot of folks. Essentially played for a MEAC de facto championship in the last game as things would fall out against South Carolina State. South Carolina State got it done, as we all know by now, but they finished 8-4 overall, 4-1 in terms of conference race with 98 points. Charles, tell me about these first 5 teams we see in this top 10 points, 10 through 6.
Yeah, so I think we'll start with 10. I'm trying to get back into the business. Comes from the state and brings a winning culture back to A&M. Talk about a legacy program. They can't wait to get back into the business. When they're anxious when you talk about A&M not having an opportunity to play season play, but it's still the expectations are continuing to be there. We mentioned it with Texas Southern, 6-5, huge improvement last year, being gained above 500 in one play. Could have defined the season. The opening loss later classic occurred here, but could have been Texas Southern even them making an improvement this year. Big improvement from the Blue Cup game, going 6-6 last year. Huge win to end the season over A&M over Rock, but they lose both the quarterbacks that were instrumental in them having 4 games. This upcoming season. Then you take a look at Delaware State, massive rushing attack last year. That really turned heads. When was the last time we really talked about Delaware State football? But Deshaun Jackson, he did a tremendous job in terms of what he was able to do there with Delaware State. So, you take a look at those teams, and that was a phenomenal season. And who can be that next team sort of dips their toes in the top 5?
Out of those 6 teams, any of those teams that you think outside of it, or any of the teams receiving votes? Well, let's look at the Tennessee State, North Carolina A&T, or even Hampton. Are any of those teams that you think could find their way in the top 10 or even higher for that matter at the end of the season?
I think there were a team to watch for in terms of receiving votes
Yeah, I know.
Alcorn really started to come on. The light bulb kind of came on. Final 4 games of the season last year, and they were but a Hail Mary away from knocking off Jackson State. Their wise last season. So Alcorn is definitely a team that you take a look at. North Carolina too. A lot of excitement around that program. We've seen the season ticket sales. I think so. A lot of fans are really excited to see the North Carolina team get back in the football business. So I think you got some teams that are knocking at the door that can make a significant step.
Great point. Well, let's look at the top 5 and get to the cream of the crop, at least for the preseason, that is. Number 5, North Carolina Central. Eagles had what you would consider a down year, but they still got 8 wins. They finished the conference race at 3. MEAC there, 107 points. We'll get to the top 4 where you have some of the teams receiving votes. That's number Alabama State at number 4, I should say. The Hornets out of the SWAC finished the season 10-2. 10-win season is all 7-1 in the conference race that literally went down to a last play of the game that ended on the 1-inch yard line that ended up sending Jackson State through the hosted championship game instead of Alabama State after they got a big victory against Prairie View on the road latter part of the season, but they lost the quarterback there. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how that plays back. But he is back in the fold as a preseason conference, all-conference offensive player of the year. Fascinating to see how that will work out. Jackson State Tigers are back in the mix. They're 9-3 out of the SWAC, 7-1, 149 points, 4 first place votes. So they do have less first place votes, even though overall they're ranked higher than Alabama State. Good bulletin board material there for some people. At number 2, Prairie View A&M University Panthers finished the season winning the SWAC first time since 2009. Looked like they were going to have the real magical season crowning with the Cricket Celebration Bowl after jumping out to a 21-point lead in that game, but the Bulldogs took them down. But Panthers finished with 165 points, just 2 first-place votes. So a lot of folks see them high, but not necessarily repeating in terms of SWAC championship, it looks like, and not even repeating as in not repeating, but finding a way to a national championship. At least preseason-wise, people don't see them at the top. Sure. Meaning, who is number 1? We told you earlier, South Carolina State, 10-3, 10 big wins, including one that brings them a national championship, 5-0 in the conference race, 185 points, and people clearly believe in the Bulldogs, at least to start things, because they have 36 first-place votes. Nobody even got to 7.
Yeah.
So overwhelming favorites. Tell us about the top 5, Charles.
Well, the top 5, the question becomes, can certain teams exercise their demons? North Carolina Central can exercise the demon that is South Carolina State. South Carolina State has had their number over the past couple of seasons. Same thing with Alabama State.
I like that. That's
4.
A good one. Everybody needs everybody that top 5 except for South Carolina State.
Yeah, they're exercising demon. Can Alabama State break through in the SWAC East, namely to knock off Jackson State?
That's right.
2 yards away last season. You take a look at Jackson State, a salty taste in their mouth from losing the SWAC championship at home. Kudos to Prairie View, the number 2 team, in terms of coming into the belly of the beast, Mississippi Veterans Memorial Stadium, and knocking off the defending Black College National Champions at home. So Jackson State, huge chip on their shoulder coming into this upcoming season. And what can you say about Chennis Berry and what he's done in South Carolina State? Number 1, deservingly so. Chennis Berry has yet to lose a conference game. So I think, when you talk about these top 5 teams, a lot of intrigue going into the season.
Oh, boy, they are the teams to watch, and they got plenty of television time.
Absolutely.
So you have no excuse not to catch them. If you can't get there live, certainly turn on the TV and get it done in terms of what their expectation. Well, that will do it for us in terms of the inaugural 2026 Black College Football Post Show here in Birmingham, Alabama, as we get ready for tomorrow, where it really goes down for the 2026 SWAC Media Day here in Birmingham, Alabama at the Sheraton. I want to give a shout out. I have an old friend out there and checking us out with his son. Hopefully they enjoying the show.
to give us a little love as they decided to come in town and check things out. Again, that'll do it for us for the Black College Football Poll for 2026 in terms of this preseason. Again, brought to you by SWAC TV Game Time. This is the Black College Football Poll Show. That's all for us.